Question 1. A company needs to run large-scale batch jobs that process millions of records every night. They want a cost-effective solution that can handle varying workloads. What should they do? Options: A. Use EC2 spot instances with auto-scaling. B. Use on-demand EC2 instances with auto-scaling. C. Use AWS Lambda with S3. D. Use Amazon EMR with spot instances. Correct answer: D. Use Amazon EMR with spot instances. Explanation: Amazon EMR is a managed big data platform optimized for batch processing. Using spot instances reduces costs significantly for jobs that are fault-tolerant. Why not other options? Option A. Spot instances alone do not provide the big data processing capabilities required for large-scale batch jobs. Option B. On-demand instances are more expensive than spot instances for fault-tolerant workloads. Option C. Lambda is limited by execution time and memory, making it unsuitable for large-scale batch processing. Question 2. A company uses multiple AWS accounts for its environments, e.g. dev, test, prod. They want to securely manage database credentials across accounts. What is the best approach? Options: A. Use AWS Secrets Manager in each account and replicate secrets manually. B. Use AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store with cross-account IAM roles. C. Store secrets in S3 with server-side encryption and bucket policies. D. Use AWS KMS to encrypt secrets and store them in DynamoDB. Correct answer: B. Use AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store with cross-account IAM roles. Explanation: Systems Manager Parameter Store allows secure storage and access to parameters. Cross-account roles enable centralized secret management. Why not other options? Option A. Manually replicating secrets increases complexity and risk of inconsistency. Option C. Storing secrets in S3 is not recommended due to potential exposure risks. Option D. KMS encrypts data but does not provide secret management features like automatic rotation. Question 3. A company runs a PostgreSQL database on Amazon RDS in a single availability zone, AZ. They need high availability and automatic failover while ensuring minimal downtime during maintenance and updates. Which solution should they choose? Options: A. Enable Amazon RDS multi-AZ deployment. B. Set up a read replica in another AZ and promote it manually during failure. C. Deploy an Amazon EC2 instance running PostgreSQL and configure multi-AZ replication. D. Use Amazon Aurora with read replicas. Correct answer: A. Enable Amazon RDS multi-AZ deployment. Explanation: Multi-AZ provides automatic failover to a standby instance in another AZ in case of failure, ensuring high availability with minimal downtime. Why not other options? Option B. Read replicas do not provide automatic failover, manual promotion leads to downtime. Option C. Managing PostgreSQL manually on EC2 increases operational overhead and does not support automatic failover. Option D. Aurora is a great option, but if the company is using standard Amazon RDS PostgreSQL, migrating is unnecessary. Question 4. A financial institution needs a secure and low-latency connection between its on-premises data center and AWS VPC. The data transfer must be private and should not use the public internet. Which option should they choose? Options: A. Use AWS Direct Connect. B. Use an AWS site-to-site VPN. C. Use AWS Transit Gateway with a VPN. D. Use VPC peering. Correct answer: use AWS Direct Connect. Explanation: AWS Direct Connect provides a private, dedicated network connection to AWS, offering lower latency and higher security than VPN. Why not other options? Option B. VPN traffic still travels over the public internet, which is less secure and has higher latency. Option C. Transit Gateway improves routing but still relies on VPN, which has internet-based limitations. Option D, VPC peering connects AWS VPCs but does not provide hybrid connectivity to on-premises environments. Question 5. A high-traffic web application has unpredictable traffic spikes. The company wants a cost-effective scaling solution that minimizes expenses while ensuring availability. What is the best option? Options: A. Use on-demand EC2 instances with auto-scaling. B. Use EC2 spot instances with an auto-scaling group. C. Use a combination of on-demand and spot instances with auto-scaling. D. Use reserved instances with auto-scaling. Correct answer: C. Use a combination of on-demand and spot instances with auto-scaling. Explanation: on-demand instances provide stable capacity. Spot instances help handle temporary spikes at a low cost. Auto-scaling automatically adjusts capacity based on traffic demand. Why not other options? Option A, on-demand instances alone are more expensive than using spot instances for variable traffic. Option B, spot instances can be interrupted, so relying only on them is risky for high availability applications. Option D, reserved instances are good for predictable workloads but not ideal for fluctuating traffic. Question 6. A company needs to store sensitive financial records in Amazon S3 while ensuring encryption at rest and controlling access to the data. Which approach should they take? Options: A. Enable S3 default encryption using AWS Managed Keys, SAA C03. B. Use AWS Key Management Service, KMS, with SAA KMS. C. Use client-side encryption and upload encrypted files to S3. D. Encrypt the data manually before uploading to S3. Correct answer: B. Use AWS Key Management Service, KMS, with SAA KMS. Explanation: SAA KMS provides fine-grained access control using AWS KMS keys, enabling auditability in centralized key management. Why not other options? Option A, SAA S3 encrypts data but does not provide customer control over keys. Option C, client-side encryption requires managing encryption keys manually, increasing complexity. Option D, manually encrypting data before uploading lacks automatic AWS key rotation and integration. Question 7. A company wants to process large log files stored in S3 every 10 minutes and requires a serverless solution that can scale based on incoming data volume. Which solution should they use? Options: A. Use AWS Lambda with an S3 trigger. B. Use an EC2 instance with a cron job. C. Use Amazon EMR to process log files. D. Use an AWS batch job scheduled every 10 minutes. Correct answer: A. Use AWS Lambda with an S3 trigger. Explanation: Lambda is serverless, processes events in real time, and scales automatically when new log files are added. Why not other options? Option B, an EC2 instance introduces manual scaling, higher costs, and maintenance overhead. Option C, EMR is suited for big data processing, but it is overkill for log file processing. Option D, AWS Batch is designed for batch jobs, but Lambda is more efficient for event-driven workloads. Question 8. A company hosts its website on EC2 instances in a single AWS region. They need a cost-effective disaster recovery, DR, strategy that minimizes downtime and data loss. Which approach should they take? Options: A. Implement a backup and restore strategy using Amazon S3 for backups. B. Use an active-active architecture across multiple AWS regions. C. Deploy instances in a second AWS region and replicate data periodically. D. Use AWS Global Accelerator for faster failover between regions. Correct answer: C. Deploy instances in a second AWS region and replicate data periodically. Explanation: This follows the pilot light DR strategy, which keeps a minimal footprint in the secondary region and can scale up quickly in case of failure. Why not other options? Option A, backup and restore has longer recovery times and is not ideal for minimizing downtime. Option B, active architectures are costly and not required unless the application is mission critical. Option D, AWS Global Accelerator improves performance but does not provide disaster recovery. Question 9. A company provides a public API that external clients use to access its services. They want to control who can access the API while ensuring security and cost efficiency. Which solution should they use? Options. A. Use an API gateway with IAM authentication. B. Deploy an EC2-based API server with basic authentication. C. Use API gateway with an Amazon Cognito authorizer. D. Store API keys in a DynamoDB table and validate them manually. Correct answer, C. Use API gateway with an Amazon Cognito authorizer. Explanation. Cognito provides token-based authentication with user pools, reducing the need to manage authentication manually. Why not other options? Option A. IAM authentication is not ideal for external users. Option B. Managing authentication manually on EC2 is inefficient and insecure. Option D. Manually handling API keys increases security risks and requires additional infrastructure. Question 10. A media company stores critical video files in an Amazon S3 bucket. They want to protect against accidental deletion while ensuring that files remain accessible. Which solution best meets their requirements? Options. A. Enable S3 versioning and MFA delete. B. Use S3 intelligent tiering. C. Enable S3 lifecycle policies to archive objects. D. Store the data in Amazon EBS snapshots. Correct answer. A. Enable S3 versioning and MFA delete. Explanation. S3 versioning keeps multiple versions of files, preventing accidental deletion. MFA delete ensures that deletions require multi-factor authentication, adding an extra layer of security. Why not other options? Option B. S3 intelligent tiering optimizes cost, not accidental deletion prevention. Option C. Lifecycle policies move objects but do not prevent deletion. Option D. EBS snapshots are for block storage, not object storage like S3.